Hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome to my channel. I am excited to talk about some of the books that I have read the past couple weeks, and I have not been able to do a wrap-up in a bit because we went on a quick little trip this last week to Switzerland, and it was beautiful and so wonderful, and now I'm back and I can talk about some of these books, so let's jump into that. The first book that I read was a recommendation from Brandon at Brandon's Bookshelf, so I will link his channel down below, and I read A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier by Ishmael Bey, and this was heavy. This book is following, it is a memoir, and it is following the story of Ishmael in Sierra Leone as a child soldier, and it's through his eyes, his experiences as a child soldier, and it is so difficult to read, really hard to read, but I mean, bringing attention to some very, very important issues. So I mean, there's really nothing I can say negative about it because it's somebody's experience. I mean, he's writing what he lived, and it was, for me, I wanted to put it down a few times because it was so horrifying, but also so important that, and you know, like one of those books where you feel like you owe it to the author that if he's gonna write about these horrors that he has experienced, I can be there as a witness for it. And I thought it was important and that these are issues that need to be talked about. So, I mean, excellent book. Just be aware, I mean, it's about a child soldier. It's gonna be a rough read. I saw this book talked about over on the channel Teacup the Storyteller, and it is called Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. And this had its moments of being very, very cute. So it is following our main character, Hazel, and she wants to be a doctor, and she wants to learn about how to be a surgeon. The other half of our love story is a resurrection man. He is a boy who digs up dead bodies after they're buried and sells them to medical labs. And I thought it was cute, you know, just the little love story, them getting together because she needs bodies to practice surgery on, and he needs the money, and I thought there were some cute elements to that, but also kind of a weird premise. I mean, I don't know if I don't know how I feel about the ethics of all of that. I know that that went on at the time, how doctors needed bodies to study, but there was a lot of, you know, sketchy ethical things behind that. But it had some really cute moments. Now, by the end, I feel like everything ended up super rushed. Just let's throw it all in, some supernatural elements, some stuff that I didn't quite feel the vibe for at the beginning. Like, it just didn't quite come together into one cohesive thing for me. And then there were also just like some plot holes and things that didn't work for me. So, cutesy romance, enjoyed it, thought the characters were fun, but I don't know if the ending worked out very well for me. The next one I read was Under the Blood Red Sun by Graham Salisbury. So this book is following Tommy, who was born in Hawaii. His parents and grandparents were born in Japan, and they are living in Hawaii working, and it's during World War II. And so you get what happened with Pearl Harbor, or you get kind of the aftermath and how they were treated. I think this book was really well done. It's definitely a little bit towards a younger audience, but I feel like it introduces a lot of important things and doesn't talk down. I mean, for a middle grade book as an adult, I still feel like it had some meaningful moments and important information. And so I really did think this was a good one, especially if you're interested in this subject or you want to introduce it to your children. This might be a good place to start. This was first published in 1994, and I feel like it's held up really well as a discussion about how people are treated in the US, and especially in the past, and with racism during the wars and the Japanese internment camps. I feel like there are lots of starting points for discussions that can be had from this book. And so really, for the subject matter, excellent. I would recommend this one. It was good. I heard about this last book from Fran over at Fran Nook in the Pages, and I didn't really know what I was getting into, so I read The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. The premise of this is that we have Patrick. He lives alone. He loves his niece and nephew, but he hasn't seen them in a long time. When their mother passes away and his brother ends up with some issues that he needs to take care of, Patrick is left with the 2 children all summer and has to learn how to take care of them, even though he has never had to deal with kids before. And I thought this sounded like a light, fun premise. It's called The Guncle because he's the gay Uncle Patrick, Guncle or Gup for short. So it had some kind of cutesy things, and I was hoping for a lot of humor and fun, like crazy situations of him trying to raise these kids for a few months, and it had all that. Don't get me wrong. This book had all of those elements, and it has that cartoon cover. I was like, oh, something light and something fun. And I was crying at the end of this book. It ended up being quite the exploration into grief and how we get over loss as people and how we move on. And I thought it was really good. Not what I was planning on, but it was a really good one. I really did enjoy this book. I just loved, the sense of family and learning about that, and also, dealing with grief and difficult times by reaching out and talking and helping people that are close to you. There were lots of things that were good, and I cried my eyes out, and no, I really enjoyed this one. So this is a good one. Just don't go into it thinking you're getting a light, fluffy read, because unless, because I don't do enough research into my books, and I was crying my eyes out by the end. And just to tag on at the end, if I have time in this video, I am going to talk for a second about the Percy Jackson series. I just finished reading all 5 books to my daughter, and she is obsessed. She's 6. She loves it. Everything is Greek mythology right now. We go to the library and she has to get all those books about mythology and Greek life and everything. It's been, I keep finding little things. She found an alphabet in Greek and she keeps trying to write everything in Greek, and they're all over the house. So these books were great for that. Daughter loved them, got her interested in learning more, has her doing research. Excellent for that. As an adult, going back and reading the Percy Jackson books, I think I read these as a teen, and I enjoyed them at the time. When I go back and read them as an adult, I think, okay, these are very USA centric. The writing's not super strong, and the pacing is a little off on some of these books. Sometimes it's action, and sometimes I'm like, when is this gonna end? So I don't think they're perfect books, but for kids, if my 6-year-old is this excited about it, then it's great. They are also pretty good for read aloud. They are very dialogue heavy, and so it makes a fun, snappy read aloud. So I enjoyed those ones. I thought I'd just mention them since I finished the whole series, and found it interesting to revisit them as an adult. Also, you never get a closer reading than when you have to read every single word out loud. So, was an interesting look, and I am excited for the Netflix series. I hope that comes out sometime soon. My daughter is so excited for that as well. So, yeah, Percy Jackson. It's an interesting one. And that's all the books I'm going to talk about for this video. I've already read a couple others, so I'll be back soon with another book wrap up. But if you have had any thoughts on these books, please let me know, and I will see you all on the next one.